doesn't that steering wheel with the analog dial, with the dials, right? Doesn't that look like a face, like a robotic bear? That's what...
Alright, welcome back everyone. My name is Adrian and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today I've got a special guest again. You've seen him more than once on the channel already. And would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi guys, my name's Ronald. Yeah, you've seen me in a few videos before. I'm back.
And what we're doing today, do you know what we're doing today, Ronald?
We're doing a comparison between the Mark 7 Golf R and the Mark 8 Golf R.
And I wonder why. So this all started from the last video, which was my Mark 8 Golf R, sort of like a review video of the announcement of the Mark 8 Golf R. And this guy decided to, well, he dropped a comment and he wasn't too sure, right? You're not too sure? I'm old school golf. So like literally right now we've got the Mark 4 project we're working on. So I don't actually know what's the difference between 7 and 8. So okay.
Yeah, this will be really cool actually. I'm really excited.
Alright, so to let you know, we'll get started right away anyways. And in terms of the format of today's video is basically, so we're going to go and we're going to look over the exterior first, then the interior, then we're going to look at some numbers. We're going to look at some performance numbers, and generally just have a discussion in regards to, you know, is it worth upgrading if you are a Mark 7 or Mark 7.5 owner? Is it worth the upgrade to jump on towards the Mark 8? And you know, how much difference is there between the two? Cool.
Wicked.
Right, so start off with the exterior. So what do you think, Ronald? I'm just going to put this up on your fancy big screen over there.
Right, so my first thoughts is the front bumper of the Mark 8. Do you remember back in the day when Volkswagen did that concept with the Mark 6 with the W12,
yes.
The W12 when they put the Bentley engine in the back? I really wish they made that. That was sick. Basically, the way they've done the kind of the bumper, the way it's kind of scoops around and then up, kind of looks like they've taken that similar kind of design cue. And it does look, I don't know about you, bro, but it looks like they've made the bonnet a little bit longer. Yeah? Yeah, it does look
kind of like, from the angle that, you know, the picture that we have here, it does look like it is slightly longer. Yeah.
And also the lights, I've noticed this, the more I look at it. So on the Mark 7, the lines from the bonnet kind of just goes over where the lights are and then it stops. Whereas on the Mark 8, the lights are a lot more swoopier, so it kind of swoops and then bends around and then it kind of feeds into the front behind the badge, and then it kind of completes it. So I like that kind of that clean lines. I think that's really good. Wheels though, not feeling. Sorry, them wheels they're too skinny. Like me, I'm more of a big cat. I like big spokes. I don't like this thing.
It'd be interesting what kind of wheel options there are for the Golf R, to be honest. And
I prefer the 7.5 wheels, but obviously I don't know how they would look on the Mark 8 because obviously all the lines are different. So.
And to be fair, like on the Mark 7, the wheels they have on there, they look more like, you know, ones you they look more like aftermarket, so it looks like more like an aftermarket upgrade, whereas the Mark 8 kind of just it is like an OEM wheel for sure. It's like an OEM look, and the ones that have fitted on there are the 19-inch wheels. They do look better in terms of the options you have compared to the GTI. Honestly, I don't like any of the wheels they have for the Mark 8 GTI, to be fair, and I'll be interested to see what kind of options you have for the Mark 8 in terms of like the 18-inch wheel option, and then what kind of 19-inch wheel options you have as well. Yeah. But yeah, the wheels, I don't mind them, to be fair, but I do like the Mark 7 ones because it looks like it's more of an aftermarket look. I'm not too sure about the lines on the bonnet on the Mark 8. It kind of reminds me of just how like a BMW looks. It's very bumpy and it's not very smooth and clean. Yeah, to be fair. And the lights at the front, I'm still not too sure about the lights on the front because like I went along the M1 once and it was dark, and when you see like a Mark 8 coming towards you from in your mirrors, it kind of looks kind of funny, like almost like a UFO is coming, like chasing you from behind.
Yeah. I'm also thinking now I'm looking a bit more at the picture. I prefer the rear end of the Mark 7. The Mark 8 actually kind of looks like a BMW X1.
Okay.
Just the lines. I know it's really subtle, and not everyone might see it, but it just looks a little bit too sharp on the back. I prefer the kind of more slightly rounded look on the 7.5.
And moving on to a kind of like the rear end kind of view. They're sticking with the quad pipes.
Yeah.
They moved the R logo. Oh, speaking of R logo, what's your opinion on the new design of the R logo?
The R logo, I saw it on a little Instagram post. R logo looks sick. Like, I know it's just an R, and my name is Ronald. And if I could do R's like that, like if I'm handwriting, that'd be sick. But yeah, the R, the previous gen does look a little bit dated, but this one just looks a lot more futuristic. And like we spoke about off camera, it's nice how they've kind of put it underneath the VW badge, a bit like how the Arteon is kind of like badged on the back. It just makes it a little bit more luxurious, makes it a little more different. Not a massive fan of the rear lights. If I'll be honest, but the bottom half with the diffuser in between the quad pipe exhaust and the spoiler as well, the way it goes out a little bit more and then cuts in, I think that does look just a little bit more sharper. But I must admit, they couldn't put the Mark 7 lights on a Mark 8. It just wouldn't look right.
No, not with the kind of design they're going for.
Design, no.
As far as I know, I could be wrong, but from the introductory video Volkswagen launched for the Golf R, I think the rear spoiler, that big, massive rear spoiler they have on there, I think is a performance pack option. So it'd be interesting to see what the car would look like if that is an option. So without that rear spoiler, I think it would look kind of weird, and not quite as aggressive, I think. The exhaust option at the moment is the Acropovic exhaust system, which I think is could be about £3,000 option.
Damn.
So I don't know if
I assume that's a full system, right? For £3,000. Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see what the car would look like without the performance pack and that exhaust option. I'm assuming they'll still stick with a quad pipe exhaust system, but in terms of how much it changes the look, it'd be quite interesting to see. Because at the moment, the ones they have fitted on, the diameter looks larger than the Mark 7 exhaust pipes.
Yeah. I wouldn't go much bigger than that. It would look, because obviously the new Skyline, like those quad pipes are massive. They're like little we used to a term we used to use back in the day with the Subarus with the 4-inch pipe. Kind of reminds me of that. So it wouldn't look right on this car. So I think that kind of diameter is about right. But that would Acropovic with exhaust look sick, definitely. But sounds amazing as well.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
Overall, in terms of looks, between the 7 and the 8, I mean, do you like the evolution? Is it a good change?
I think okay, so my opinion with this line, the R line, is that it's like the best of the best in terms of the Golf. Volkswagen couldn't go too creative because it's such an important car in terms of the Golf range. So I think the combination kind of had to go like that. Like they couldn't take like I said earlier, they couldn't take the lights off the 7 and put it on an 8. So yeah, I think it looks okay as a whole package. But if I broke it down individually, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not really a massive fan of the sharp lines, the way it kind of drops off the rear window and then it just goes kind of straight down and then curves outwards. Not really a massive fan of that. I think it's a good evolution, I would say, definitely. What about you?
I mean, I totally agree. I mean, I like how it's overall. I think it looks more aggressive, but still, I'm not too a fan of the bonnet. The bonnet just looks kind of way too BMW-like for me. It's just too bumpy. I do like it to look a bit more smoother, but overall, slightly more aggressive look on the Golf R just makes it look more like it means business.
Yeah.
It's ready to go and just attack you.
Yeah.
Alright, so moving on let's look at the interior. Here we go. So this is what the 7 interior would look like.
Wow, is that how big the head unit is? I think it's massive.
Mm-hmm.
They've literally filled every inch of the center console to kind of to fit a screen in there. It's pretty cool.
But overall, like in terms of the evolution between the 6 and the 7, I can still see the similarities between the interior of the 6 and the 7.
Have you got analog or is it digital on your arm?
In terms of
speedometer?
Yeah, mine is analog. It's still the similar system as they had on the 5. But yeah, the only difference is the digital speedometer on the Mark 7.
Yeah. Now, so I first saw this, guys, on my wife's Insignia SRI. She has a digital speedometer. Now, I'm not a massive fan of it, if I'll be honest. I do kind of see the idea if this is kind of aimed at people who want to, you know, take their kids on a school run, then go do a track day on the weekends, how you could just like switch it up, make it a bit more aggressive. You know what I mean? Have the tachometer, have the, you know, how much G-force when you're throwing it around the corner. I do get that, and because you couldn't do it really any other way. It'll grow on me. It'll grow on me. But yeah, I do like the size of that head unit though. Like, at least you know that you've got serious space, like, to see where you're going.
It is a good screen. I mean, I think they've also, on this one, this first time they introduced the CarPlay system onto it as well. They've removed the actual like manual handbrake as well, so you've got the
e-brake.
Yeah, the e-brake. So that's the main difference between the 6 and the 7. That handbrake, that e-brake. But yeah, it's still very similar to what you're used to in terms of what a Golf interior, or modern day Golf interior would look like in terms for the 7. On the steering wheel, you've got all the multi-function buttons on there.
Yeah. I like how you got like on the new Golfs where it kind of goes round and then it kind of goes flat on the bottom. I think that's pretty cool. It's not a proper full-on steering wheel. It's kind of like a steering wheel.
It just makes it look a bit more sporty as well. Right, so let's have a look at what a Mark 8 interior would look like.
Okay,
here you go.
That's a massive difference.
So, a lot more cleaner, a lot less buttons.
Yeah. I love the little gear knob. That's so cute. Look at that thinking.
That is very new 911 sort of style in terms of that gear. I like it because, like, if you're going for an automatic option with the dual clutch, the DSG option, then honestly, like, how often are you going to be using that apart from when you're parking, reversing, changing into drive?
Yeah, it doesn't need to be like the Mark 7, which is like a proper gear stick. Like, you don't need to do it. Like most cars, I mean, you know, we just did some work on our mate Bill's car, and he's got the automatic on his Beamer where you just like flick it. Yeah. I think that's kind of so easy. It's so effortless. You don't really have to have like a, you know, like on my my Touran, literally like push, like to throw it into drive. Like, yeah, I think that.
It's a good look.
Yeah, I like how they've kind of made it more kind of like a cockpit. So I've noticed how they've moved the head unit up a bit, so it's a bit more in your eye line. But then they've also kind of moved the monitor just a little bit closer to you, like they pivoted it towards you. So it's kind of like you don't have to like look downwards when you're driving. You can just glance to the right.
I've totally agree. I mean, I think they have to do that because there's so much of the driver aids and functions and modes you have to change on that screen. So if you have it in the same place and you're driving and you want to change it into race mode, you're like,
which button?
You're like that, and you're taking your eyes off the roads. Yeah. But moving it up to there, so you still kind of got your eyes on the road, but whilst going do.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's makes sense having it to move it up there. And what I've noticed, they have like changed it up a bit on the driver's side in terms of, like, you know, when on the Golf we're so used to that dial, we're changing your lights, like boom, lights on, automatic, whatever, dum dum dum, and pull for the fogs. Yeah. They've removed that, and it looks like they've got some buttons on there as well. I'm not sure if it's the same as the ones on the steering wheel, where it's the steering wheel, it's with the multi-function steering wheel, on the new one, on the Mark 8, it's all haptic feedback. It's like,
oh wow.
So you don't see the buttons until the car's on. Yeah. And on the Golf R, the difference with the Golf R and the GTR and the other models, R has the racing button, so it's a shortcut to the racing mode instead of pressing it on the digital screen. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Yeah, to be fair, I think the old kind of like analog way of like adjusting the fog lights and stuff. I mean, that's been there for donkey's years. You know what I mean, you might as well change it. So I think having that, it looks just a little bit more cleaner, and it just kind of completes the look. It doesn't make the left hand side of the car just like redundant, like this is empty space. It looks more kind of functional. Not gonna lie though, as I keep looking at this picture, guys, comment down below if you see this. Doesn't that steering wheel with the analog with the dials, right? Doesn't it look like a face, like a robotic bear? That's what it looks like to me. What about you? What do you reckon?
It kind of looks like a scary clown now.
Yeah, like the eyes, and then you've got the little bit, you know, got the side where you put your thumbs. Looks like some ears, and then the mouth. I don't know. I've been around my son for too long. That's why I can see stuff like that. But yeah.
And overall, with the interior, I am a fan of the Mark 8 interior. It's a step into like a new kind of luxury level for a Golf. And you know, if you are going for a Golf R, you do want that kind of premium luxury feel. And you know, to compare it with it is comparable to a 9 in terms of looks and how clean it looks. I think it is comparable to the new 911s, to be fair.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite the same in terms of materials and quality, but it is on that kind of, you can make comparisons with it, and that's like a nice kind of luxury to have a comparison with.
Yeah, cool. I like that. It's different. It's not what I'm used to, because obviously my cars are all 20 years old, so I'm not familiar with all this stuff. But it's nice to see, especially how they've kind of made the kind of the lines are just underneath the monitor. It's just, I don't know why I keep calling it monitor. The heads-up display just looks really cool. Like the way they've just kind of made that like one continuous band.
One thing you've just mentioned there that you brought to my attention. They have, you know, like with a lot of new cars now, they have that thing where kind of like a hologram on your windscreen where you can see your speed and whatnot. That is an option on this model.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what it's called. That's why I'm like that. That's why I said.
Maybe I'll get my words wrong. I think that's called the heads-up display, and that's called the head unit. That's how I refer to it. Correct me. Comment down below if I'm wrong. Yeah, because I probably am wrong.
Alright, I just call it the hologram thing. Yeah. Alright, interior-wise, Mark 8, good evolution.
Yes, definitely.
Alright, let's look at the fun stuff. Let's look at some numbers.
Right. Now, obviously, when our car, I mean, our GTI that we bought was dirt cheap, like it was less than £1,000. So obviously, this is way out of my price range, but I'm still intrigued. Yeah, I might wake up with 50 grand in my bank account that I don't know what to do with. So let's see how much. If I want to buy a Mark 8 Golf R. Well, actually no. Let's look at the 7. How much is the 7 at the moment?
7, I think 7 on paper starts around just a little over 30.
Yeah.
And on paper, I think the 8 I think is more. I'm not 100% sure because I think nothing has been. I don't think anything has been like technically announced yet, but I think they start from around maybe 35, 37.
Right, let's look at, that's quite a lot. Let's look at some specs and see.
In terms of numbers, top speed 155 on the Mark 7.
Yeah.
Top speed on the Mark 8 also limited to 155. 0 to 60, I think the 7 is roughly about 4.6 seconds. Mark 8, surprisingly enough, I think it's about 4.7, but 0.1 of a second.
Barely noticed.
Barely noticed the difference.
Yeah.
Performance wise, brake horsepower on the Mark 7 is roughly about 310. If you round it up, it's roughly about 310. And Mark 8, if you round it up, roughly about 320. So even though it's a faster car,
it's slower from 0 to 60.
Yeah, but is it really that much slower when it's
Is it heavier?
Surprisingly enough, the Mark 7 is just shy of 1.5 tons, and the Mark 8 it is heavier. It is much heavier. I think it's almost 100 kilos.
Wow.
Almost 100 kilos. Well, maybe. Okay, I've rounded up there. It's probably more about 70 kilos more. Weighs more about 70 kilos.
That's a whole me almost. That's a whole me extra in weight.
They both are quite heavy cars, anyways.
Yeah.
It's mainly because of their all-wheel drive system.
Yeah.
And also, I think the main reason why the Mark 8 is heavier because it's got all these gadgets inside, and it's got it's got the torque vectoring system in the Mark 8.
Yeah, that would explain it. Yeah, because that's going to be quite a lump, like underneath the rear tires, most likely.
And in terms of fuel economy, the Mark 7 is much better.
What?
Yeah.
Is it?
Well, according to numbers, Mark 7 is roughly about 40 mpg.
Okay.
The Mark 8 Golf R is roughly about 36 mpg. And that's,
Okay, so let me get this right. So I get more horsepower, but I get a weightier car and poor fuel economy. Well, not poor fuel economy, but less fuel economy than the previous gen.
Well, anyone that's buying a Golf R, are you actually going to be concerned about fuel economy?
I mean, no, of course not. But okay, that's interesting. That's surprising. They're going to be. I'm going to be really intrigued to see how Volkswagen sell the Mark 8 to previous gen owners, like Mark 6 and Mark 7, because I'm paying. You said this more in price, right?
It's technically more in price.
So it's more in price for a car that's slower 0 to 60 and is heavier and has less fuel economy.
Oh, and if you want a lot of the options, like with the 19-inch wheels, I think they're cup or performance wheels, which are lighter as well. And that spoiler, I believe, is an option extra. The exhaust, the Aquapovics exhaust. With the performance pack, you also get drift modes and the special mode, which is like the Nürburgring mode. I still don't get why they call it that. Why they just call it track mode? So that's all optional extras.
Nürburgring sounds way nicer. Because it's like everyone wants to know when you get a hot hatch, how quickly you can go around a Nordschleifer. Yeah, everyone wants to know that. So yeah, I think that's a very easy marketing. Yeah, R button, Nürburgring mode. Right, let's tighten up everything. Yeah, let's just go for it. I like that. I do like that. That's cool.
But if anyone's like a Mark 7 owner, is it really worth the upgrade in terms of performance?
Yeah. Comment down below, right? Anybody, honestly, anybody who has a Mark 7, right now, Golf R, and if they're thinking of upgrading, would you actually, now you've heard all of this from us, would you actually upgrade? Because I'm not gonna lie, I understand obviously with the torque vector, and that means that when I'm throwing it around corners, I've got the drift mode, which is awesome because I don't think I've ever seen that.
It's definitely going to perform much better on the track because of the torque vector. I reckon it's going to
be more livelier, which means I'm going to be able to kick the back in out and have more fun. That's cool. But do I want to spend an extra $6,000 in order to achieve that? That's a really important question. Now, I'm not obviously going to buy because I don't have that kind of money. But those who have a Mark 7 are probably on a monthly option, or probably on a leasing option. So there is an option to upgrade to this car. Would you pay more for that? When are you ever going to really use it? Are you gonna be doing the normal daily commute during the week and then track days on the weekend to benefit from the extra options that you have? Maybe, don't know. That's a question that needs to be answered.
I mean, it kind of gives me the vibes that on the Mark 8 and the Mark 7, they both share the same engine, but it's the Mark 8 is a different gen of that engine. They have tweaked it to get a bit more power, but I kind of get the vibes that that's as much as they can push from this engine. Yeah. So this is like, I think, the Gen 4 of this EA AAA engine, and kind of gives me vibes that this is as much as I can get from this engine.
Or it's probably like a segue into like the next Golf, which is going to be complete evolution. Because I wouldn't be surprised if, because that's obviously pure turbo engine, they will probably go hybrid, I reckon.
Yeah.
The next Golf R Mark 9 will be a hybrid motor.
I totally agree. I do see it going into that direction with a lot of supercars, hypercars, whatever. They all kind of like a hybrid super beast nowadays.
Yeah.
And for cars like
imagine
this,
400 horsepower Golf through 4 wheels,
oh,
hot hatch.
Oh.
You might as well. There's no point doing a hybrid, right? That's still 300 and change horsepower. It's dumb. It's pointless. No, I reckon this is an interim car before the next one. I reckon they're already probably thinking about it right now. That's my opinion. Let's see if that actually happens.
Would you buy one, Ronald?
Would I buy one?
Having known, with its exterior, with its tech in the interior, there's a lot of driving assisting sort of aids in the Mark 8 compared to the 7. A lot of driver assisted aids, and with the performance, would you go for an 8 if you had?
If money was no object, I probably would. Yeah, I would. But if I was a current, like, that would only be if I've never ordered an R before. But if I've had an R before, I would really like the person who sells me that car to tell me why. What is it that I need? What is it that I'm missing out if I don't upgrade?
Because how often are you going to use drift mode and Nürburgring mode?
Exactly. How often am I going to do that? Yeah. I mean, right now, no one's really driving anywhere because the whole world's pretty much in lockdown in some respects. Obviously, but next year is a new year. You know, who's going to be doing? I think that would be really cool to just like either do a test drive or see it on a track to see what it actually can do. Because yeah, I don't know. It's a good car. I mean, I'm loving the advancements in the driver aids because I don't know how to drive around the track. I haven't got a clue. So I like that I've got aids to help me out with that. I love the way they've redesigned the interior. I do like the front end. I do like some parts of the rear end. So it's a good upgrade. So yeah, I probably would buy it. Yeah, I probably would. But I'd like to, if I was upgrading from a 7, I would need a bit more convincing.
All right, so that's it. So what do you think, guys? If you are a current Mark 7 owner, would you actually want to upgrade? Make sure you drop that comment in the box below. And if you haven't owned a Mark 7, a Mark 6, or a Golf at all, does all the tech and all the options you have for this car, is it tempting in terms of a performance car, premium performance car? Is that something that you'd be interested in? Leave a comment, let us know. Alright, so that's it from us this week. If you're enjoying the video, please make sure you press the like button. If you're not a subscriber already, please make sure you subscribe and hit that notification button. Thank you very much, Ronald.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for having me, Pun.
Always nice having you. So, take care. That's it this week. Bye-bye.